WesWes show.
Yeah, we'll have a look at. I'm not sure if you've had much chance to look at it, or just brought this up recently, but Super Rugby Aupiki. So, just for our listeners who aren't sure what that is, that's the new women's competition. It was supposed to be starting up this weekend, but again, they've had more COVID scares. I think more of the Blues team, so they've delayed the start until Thursday next week. So, Rog, mate, we'll just get some thoughts on that. Just what you make of the new competition. So, again, just for our listeners, so we've got the Blues, the Chiefs, the Hurricanes, and a combined South Island team. So, four teams. Yeah, just what you think of the new comp. Have you got any thoughts on a winner or any one to keep an eye out for?
Yeah, the South Island combination, Matatu, yeah, they look like they should be competitive as well, having the benefit of, you know, garnering people from all over. I guess it's real hard because they've come from all over the place in the South Island. So, but at the same time, being a semi-pro, because they're all based in Australia at the moment. But Matatu is the South Island competition team combination team that you referred to. But yeah, I think it's exciting for women's rugby, and it's just, I guess it's a necessary step as well in their progression, because what we found out with um, England, the Test series between England and the Black Ferns last year, uh, they were well off the pace, the Black Ferns, and I don't know whether that's down to we've touched on it last year, the 2-year hiatus due to COVID. But then at the same time, the English teams are able to compete in the women's version of the Six Nations as well. So we don't have anything for our internationals. So it's good that we've got this in place and implementing this now, building on from last year's the one-off game between the Blues and Chiefs Manawa. So it's good that now that they've got an actual round robin competition going with some of the Australian teams as well. So yeah, exciting. And there's a whole good exposure for players that are trying to narrow that gap between provincial and international, and then it gives more of an option, I guess, for coaches to look at a lot of players across the board playing in these franchise teams in the hope of selecting a really competitive Black Ferns team moving forward, especially to the 2021 Rugby World Cup for the women's that's going to be played this year.
Yep, I agree with a lot of that. Good to get the competition underway. I like the point about New Zealand, the internationals last year. They were comprehensively beaten by England and France, and I think the World Cup's over here. I'm pretty sure it's this year, so they need to get some quality game time for their players, expose them to a higher level of rugby. And I think that this could help to bridge that gap and get more people up to speed and get the top players firing. So I think the Chiefs Manawa are the favourites to take it out, which will cover the slackness of their men's team, Rog. If the Chiefs women's can do it. But I'm not sure of a player to watch out for, but I'm just having a look at some of these. There's a lot of the sevens people who are involved, so it'd be good to see how they transition to the 15s. But I'm looking at the Chiefs, Renee Wycliffe. I've seen her play wing on the 15s, and she's a bit of a hot stepper and all the rest of it. So she might be one to watch out for. But yeah, glad they can get their games up and going. So it's been a long time coming, much like Moana Pasifika, but now we can finally get a women's comp and semi-professional. So some of the top athletes, Chelsea Ellie, I think. Oh, she's married now. Chelsea Semple, I think her name is now. Those elite top level players are getting paid now, so relieve some pressure on
Well,
them.
you mentioned Renee Wycliffe because the outside backs are littered with internationals. You got Portia Woodman, Ruby Tui. Then like you mentioned, you got Stacey Flula as well, who's considered a midfielder there as well. And then you got the Kelly Brazier as one of the inside backs as well. So Yeah, Chiefs Manawa's got a really massive chance here, and then Les Elder, who's one of the loose forwards, is Black Ferns captain. So it's going to be a tough one to sort of come up against them. But at the same time, is it enough time between those tests that they had against France and England last year to improve this competition? This one, not a one-off, but this year's competition, is it going to be enough to bridge that gap? Because there were some massive scorelines that England put on the Black Ferns. Um,
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see. Um, there's one person that I like in the Hurricanes, and she played for the Ferns as well. She just got signed again. Is Aisha Letiina. She's a winger.
we,
She's quite a
yep.
stocky, and she reminded me of Inga the winger when I saw her play last year. I was going, whoa,
Yeah,
she's got some devastating Meninga thighs on her, and but for her size, she's so low to the ground, but real quick as well. And she was quite a workhorse, and she stood out for me despite the losses. But she was such a tireless worker in that Black Ferns outfit, especially being a winger as well. But again, there's Sarah Hedini, one other um, Sevens stalwart in there as well, doing
yep.
her thing. So it's good to have these massive names, but it's an opportunity for the ones that are less not as well known to stake a claim and to do really well. And that's why there's only that Sevens and the Black Ferns platform. But now with Super Aupiki in play now, it just gives a bit more exposure to all the other talent that's around the country.
Yep, yep, I agree with all that. And that's the $1 million question: is if they can get it ready in time. I know because the World Cup's here, and for me being a father of two daughters, I wanted to take my kids to some of those Black Ferns games just to inspire them to have some, elite female role models for them. So I hope they don't. I hope they can sort out just basically for that reason. I want my kids to be inspired, and look at these elite athletes and be like, yeah, cool, I can look at them achieving something great. But yeah, I talked up Renee Wycliffe, and then you brought up all those outside backs, and she might not get a game when you talk about all those guns. So, sorry, Renee Wycliffe, if you're listening, I might have thrown you under the bus. She's a gun. Hmm.
So didn't she score that winning try for the Ferns at the Olympics? She was the last try.
Oh, that might be a bit of trivia for some of our listeners. I can't recall. It might be, but yeah, they've got some guns. I'm just looking at this Chiefs team now. I do agree that they might be the team to beat, but obviously, me being an Aucklander, got to support my Blues women's team. So hopefully that they can have some good stuff as well. So